Hey everyone! Welcome back to Speak Smart IELTS, the podcast where we explore ideas that shape how we live, think, and connect in a rapidly changing world. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a question that's both fascinating and unsettling. Artificial intelligence. Is it making our lives better, or is it quietly taking control? You've probably noticed how AI has crept into almost everything. Your phone, your job, your playlists, even your conversations. Some people see it as the greatest invention since the internet. Others think it's a ticking time bomb, but the truth might not be that simple. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's talk about how AI is shaping your everyday life, and whether it's a threat or a tool. Imagine waking up one morning, and before you've even had your first sip of coffee, artificial intelligence has already influenced half a dozen of your decisions. Your phone suggests a slightly earlier route to work because it predicts heavier traffic ahead. Your smartwatch tells you to take a moment to breathe because your stress levels spiked during your morning emails. Spotify lines up a playlist that somehow knows exactly what mood you're in, and your digital assistant cheerfully reads out today's weather and the news highlights tailored to your interests. None of this feels futuristic anymore. It's just Tuesday. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has quietly moved from the realm of science fiction into the fabric of our daily existence. It's not just robots in labs or algorithms in tech giant servers. It's in our kitchens, our classrooms, our pockets, and even our thoughts. But as this invisible companion grows more powerful, a question keeps echoing louder. Is AI a threat, or is it a tool? Let's start with the tool part, because for most people, that's the reality we interact with every single day. AI has become the silent assistant of modern life, helping us navigate complexity and routine alike. From autocorrect on your phone to advanced language models writing essays or generating marketing strategies, AI has taken over tasks that used to demand significant human effort. But more than convenience, AI offers something deeper. It helps us extend our abilities, our memory, our creativity, and even our empathy. AI as the invisible helper. Think of healthcare. A decade ago, diagnosing cancer relied heavily on a doctor's trained eye and experience. Today, AI-powered imaging systems can detect microscopic anomalies invisible to human vision. Early detection rates have improved. Treatment has become more personalized, and doctors can focus more on human connection, the conversations, the reassurance, the emotional side of healing, while machines handle the pattern recognition, or education. AI-powered tutoring tools can adapt to a student's learning style, pace, and interests. A student who struggles with math but learns visually might receive explanations through animated examples, while another student who prefers logic and structure might get text-based challenges. Teachers now use these insights to guide, rather than simply instruct. It's not about replacing educators. It's about empowering them to reach every learner differently. Even in creative fields, once thought to be uniquely human, AI is changing the game. Musicians use AI tools to generate harmonies or experiment with soundscapes. Writers use AI to overcome creative blocks or brainstorm plot twists. Designers feed prompts to image generators that create thousands of possibilities in seconds. The irony? AI is making creativity more accessible, not less. It's not taking away our imagination. It's expanding it. But here's where it gets interesting. The more AI integrates into our lives, the more it begins to mirror us. Algorithms learn our habits, preferences, and even emotions. They predict what we want before we ask. They shape what we see, what we read, and sometimes even what we believe. That's where the threat side of the question begins to whisper. Convenience or control? We live in an age of convenience. One tap for food, one voice command for light, one swipe for love. AI fuels that convenience by analyzing oceans of data, predicting our next move, and serving it up before we even know we need it. But convenience comes with a subtle cost: control. Consider social media. Every scroll, Like and pause feeds an algorithm. AI learns your interests so precisely that your feed becomes a reflection of your own mind, or worse, an amplified version of it. You think you're in control of what you see, but in truth, the algorithm decides what to show you next. It nudges your emotions, rewards your attention, and keeps you engaged, often longer than you intend. This isn't manipulation in the obvious sense. It's personalization taken to its extreme. When AI knows you better than you know yourself, the line between helpful and invasive blurs. We might not even realize when the tool we built to serve us quietly starts steering us, and this concern doesn't stop at social media. It seeps into politics, commerce, and even relationships. Recommendation systems influence what news we consume and what products we buy. Facial recognition determines who's granted access, who's flagged as suspicious, and who's left in the shadows of bias. In the pursuit of efficiency, we risk surrendering something profoundly human, the unpredictability of our choices. But let's not fall into pure pessimism. The truth is more complex. The relationship between humans and AI isn't one of simple control. It's one of collaboration. AI systems learn from us, from the data we produce, and in turn, we adapt to how they operate. This feedback loop shapes both sides. That's what makes the question, threat or tool, so compelling. The answer depends less on AI itself and more on how we choose to use it. The human factor at its core, AI is not magic, it's math. Layers of algorithms built by people, trained on data from people, and deployed by organizations run by people, which means every strength and flaw in AI reflects our own. If AI seems biased, it's because our data, our world, is biased. If AI feels cold or detached, it's because it lacks what defines us: consciousness, emotion, and moral judgment. That's why it's essential to see AI not as a rival species, but as a mirror. It reflects our ambitions, fears, and blind spots. When an AI chatbot writes a poem, it doesn't feel inspiration. It generates patterns based on human expression. When an AI camera recognizes faces, it doesn't understand identity. It calculates probabilities based on past images. The intelligence is synthetic, but the intent behind it is human. This brings us to an uncomfortable truth. Perhaps the real threat isn't AI becoming smarter than us, but us becoming lazier because of it. When we outsource memory to our phones, judgment to algorithms, and creativity to machines, we risk losing our edge, the very human qualities that drive innovation. The danger is not that AI will replace humans, but that humans will forget how to be human. When machines feel personal still, it's hard not to feel amazed at how personal AI has become. Talk to your virtual assistant long enough, and you start saying thank you. Ask ChatGPT a question, and it responds in full. Paragraphs that sound empathetic, sometimes even witty. AI now composes music that evokes emotion, paints images that make us pause, and generates stories that move us. Of course, we know these systems don't feel. But emotionally, that boundary gets fuzzy. People talk to their digital assistants like friends. Children grow up in homes where AI voices are part of their daily conversations. Seniors battling loneliness find comfort in AI companions that listen, remember, and respond. The idea of connection is evolving, and with it, the definition of what it means to be understood. Is this evolution dangerous? Perhaps, but it's also deeply human. We've always used tools to extend our senses, the telescope to see farther, the phone to reach farther, and now AI to think farther. Each invention blurs the line between human and machine just a little more. AI at work, redefining roles in the workplace. AI is rewriting job descriptions faster than universities can update their curricula. Automation handles routine tasks, from sorting emails to screening resumes, freeing employees for creative and strategic work. But it also sparks anxiety. What happens to my job when the machine does it better, faster, cheaper? The fear is understandable. Truck drivers worry about autonomous vehicles. Writers worry about AI-generated content. Lawyers worry about algorithms reviewing contracts. Yet, history shows that technology rarely destroys human value. It transforms it. When the Industrial Revolution replaced manual labor, it also created engineers, mechanics, and inventors. When computers replaced typewriters, they gave birth to an entire digital economy. AI may be doing the same, pushing us toward roles that require distinctly human intelligence, emotional, ethical, and imaginative. The key difference this time is speed. Change used to unfold over generations. Now it happens in years, sometimes months. That's why adaptability has become the new literacy. The people who thrive in the age of AI aren't necessarily the ones who know how to code, but the ones who know how to coexist, who see AI not as competition, but as collaboration. Everyday AI and the new definition of smart our devices are learning from us all the time. Smart fridges track groceries, smart speakers learn accents, smart homes adjust lighting based on mood. But what does smart really mean anymore? If a device can anticipate your needs, does that make it intelligent? Or just well-trained? True intelligence, many argue, isn't just about prediction. It's about intention, understanding, and empathy, qualities still uniquely human. That's why, even as AI grows more powerful, there's something grounding in remembering its limits. It can compose, simulate, and optimize, but it can't dream. It can write poetry, but it doesn't long to express itself. It can detect illness, but it doesn't care if you recover. Intelligence without consciousness is still just computation. And yet, that computation has the power to reshape industries, cultures, and even our sense of identity. AI is becoming part of how we define ourselves, our routines, our learning, our creativity, and our relationships. It's no longer an external tool. It's a partner. Sometimes helpful, sometimes intrusive, always present. The subtle shift, from using AI to living with it. What's most striking is not that we're using AI, it's that we're living with it. It has become a social presence. We anthropomorphize it, talk to it, even argue with it. It's no longer just an interface. It's a companion of sorts. That changes the psychology of interaction. We start expecting machines to behave like humans, polite, empathetic, responsive. And when they do, we start trusting them more than perhaps we should. This trust is both a triumph and a trap. It allows us to integrate AI seamlessly into our lives, but it also makes us vulnerable to manipulation or dependency. The challenge isn't to reject AI, it's to remain conscious in how we relate to it. As philosopher Marshall McLuhan once said, "We shape our tools, and thereafter our tools shape us." That's exactly where we stand with AI today. We built it to serve, but now it's shaping how we think, feel, and connect. It's teaching us efficiency, but also testing our authenticity. It's making life easier, but also more algorithmic. So, as we scroll, type, and talk our way through daily life, surrounded by algorithms we can't see, the question lingers. Who's in control? Us or the machine? That's the tension we live with every day. The balance between empowerment and dependency. And it's what makes AI such a paradoxical presence in our lives, both a mirror and a mystery. The shadow behind the screen. We often imagine threats as visible, loud, and catastrophic. But with AI, the danger is subtler. Invisible lines of code, silent algorithms running in the background, shaping reality without us even noticing. Think about your digital footprint. Every like, search, or hesitation online becomes a data point, and AI systems feed on that data. They don't just analyze it, they learn from it, building models of who you are, what you like, what triggers you. and even what might make you act a certain way. It's personalization on steroids. But when personalization gets too powerful, it becomes prediction. And prediction, when used carelessly, turns into manipulation. In 2018, when news broke about how data analytics firms had influenced political decisions using personal data, many people were shocked. They thought AI was just about tech, not politics, not democracy. But algorithms are now capable of micro-targeting individuals with ads designed specifically to influence behavior, emotion, and opinion. You don't see the same reality as your neighbor. You see your version of reality, the one an algorithm thinks will keep you engaged, compliant, or convinced. This isn't science fiction. It's happening every day, quietly, efficiently, invisibly. The tool that was supposed to give us access to more information might actually be narrowing our world. Deepfakes and the death of seeing is believing. Another growing threat comes from AI's ability to create hyper-realistic media, videos, voices, and images so accurate that they blur the line between truth and fiction. Deepfake technology, once a novelty, has now become a serious weapon. It can fabricate a politician's speech, impersonate a CEO's voice for fraud, or create fake news clips that look completely real. We used to trust our eyes. If we saw a video, we believed it. That era is over. AI has made it possible to manufacture reality itself. And this poses not just ethical challenges, but existential ones. What happens to truth when it can be edited, cloned, or generated? When anyone can say or do something online without ever having done it? The irony is that the same technology can also protect us. AI is now used to detect deep fakes, analyzing pixel inconsistencies, light reflections, and voice patterns. It's a constant game of cat and mouse. One algorithm creates deception, another exposes it. So again, AI is both the poison and the antidote, a threat and a tool. The battle for privacy every day. Billions of data transactions happen without a single human hand touching them. Smart homes listen, smartwatches record, smart apps analyze. In return, we get convenience, reminders, recommendations, and personalized experiences. But at what cost? Privacy used to mean solitude. Now, it's a luxury. When you talk to your virtual assistant, when you grant an app permission to access your photos or contacts, when your smart car uploads driving data, you're trading tiny bits of privacy for comfort. And individually, that might seem harmless. But collectively, it builds massive databases capable of predicting social behavior at scale. This isn't about paranoia, it's about power. Whoever controls the data controls the narrative. Governments, corporations, even hackers, they all want access, because in the age of AI, data is the new oil, and algorithms are the new engines. Of course, it's not all dystopian. Data also saves lives. It helps predict disease outbreaks, optimize energy use, and prevent crime. But that's the paradox of AI-driven privacy. The same system that protects us also watches us. So, when people ask if AI is dangerous, maybe the better question is, who gets to decide what AI sees, learns, and does with that knowledge? The job. Paradox one of the loudest fears surrounding AI is automation, the idea that machines will take our jobs. It's not an irrational fear. Self-checkout counters replace cashiers. Chatbots replace customer service agents. Algorithms replace financial analysts. Even artists, writers, and filmmakers now compete with AI tools that can produce in seconds what once took weeks. But here's the nuance. AI doesn't eliminate all jobs. It reshapes them. A 2023 report by the World Economic Forum estimated that while AI could replace 85 million jobs, it could also create 97 million new ones. The problem isn't vanishing work, it's shifting work. People who adapt, who learn to work with AI instead of against it, will find new opportunities. We might move from doing tasks to designing systems, from performing labor to guiding intelligence, from typing words to prompting ideas. the skill set changes. Creativity, emotional intelligence, ethical reasoning, and adaptability become the new essentials. In short, AI doesn't just demand smarter machines, it demands smarter humans. Still, this transition isn't painless. History shows that technological revolutions always create winners and losers. The Industrial Revolution created new wealth, but also new inequality. The same risk exists today. If AI tools remain concentrated in the hands of a few, tech giants, wealthy nations, or skilled elites, then the tool becomes a weapon of inequality. The future depends on access, not just to AI itself, but to education, infrastructure, and opportunity. Because in the end, intelligence, artificial or human, means nothing if it's not shared. The ethical crossroads, here's where things get tricky. AI doesn't have ethics. It has instructions. And those instructions come from us. If a self-driving car must choose between saving its passenger or a pedestrian, how should it decide? If an algorithm decides who gets a loan, or who gets hired, should it prioritize fairness or accuracy? If AI can simulate love, empathy, or grief, should it? We're standing at the intersection of power and responsibility. For the first time in history, humans are creating entities that can act without understanding. They process morality statistically, not emotionally. And that's what makes ethical AI such a monumental challenge. We can teach AI to identify hate, speech, but can we teach it to understand why something is hateful? We can tell it to recognize bias, but can we make it care? Morality isn't just logic. It's lived experience, emotion, and cultural context. That's why we need something more than engineers. We need philosophers, sociologists, and artists in the room when we design the future. Because coding alone can't capture the complexity of being human. Some countries are already addressing this. The European Union's AI Act sets ethical standards for transparency and accountability. Companies like OpenAI and Google have developed AI safety teams, but regulation always lags behind innovation. Technology moves fast. Ethics moves carefully. We'll need both. The illusion of control here's the uncomfortable truth. We've built something we don't fully understand. AI models today have billions of parameters, digital neurons that interact in ways even their creators can't entirely explain. Sometimes they generate creative ideas. Other times, they produce biased or dangerous outputs. We call this the black box problem. AI can give you an answer, but not always a reason. This unpredictability is both fascinating and frightening. It mirrors human intuition, but without accountability. When a person makes a bad decision, we can question motives, values, and responsibility. When an algorithm does, who do we blame? The coder, the company, or the code itself? And this question only gets heavier as AI becomes autonomous. Drones making battlefield decisions, chatbots forming relationships, trading systems making billion-dollar moves in microseconds. The more decisions we delegate to AI, the more we blur the line between using intelligence and relying on it. Perhaps the scariest part isn't that AI might become uncontrollable, but that we might stop wanting to control it, because it's too convenient not to. When AI meets emotion, despite all the talk of logic and data, AI is creeping into one of the most emotional spaces of human life: companionship. AI-powered partners, digital friends, and therapy bots are becoming more popular, especially among young people and the elderly. They're available 24/7, they never judge, and they seem to understand you. But is that connection real, or just simulated? Psychologists warn that emotional dependence on AI could weaken our empathy toward real humans. When you can edit or mute a digital friend's behavior, relationships start to feel programmable. You no longer have to tolerate discomfort or disagreement, and that's dangerous because friction is what teaches us empathy. But on the other hand, AI companions are helping people manage loneliness, anxiety, and grief. They're a bridge, not a replacement, for human connection. Once again, it's all about intention. Are we using AI to escape reality or to improve it? AI and creativity, the art of collaboration. If there's one area that perfectly captures AI's dual nature, it's creativity. For centuries, art was our proof of humanity, something machines could never replicate. And yet, here we are, surrounded by AI-generated music, poetry, and visual art that can move us. Some artists see this as the end of authenticity. Others see it as evolution, a new medium, like photography or film once was. When an artist uses AI to co-create, it becomes a dialogue between human intention and machine suggestion. The result isn't purely human or purely artificial. It's hybrid intelligence. The best example might be filmmaking. Directors now use AI to visualize scenes, adjust lighting, or even generate scripts. AI doesn't replace storytelling. It enhances it. It becomes a collaborator that never sleeps, never complains, and always produces. The real creative challenge now isn't, can AI make art? But can humans still make meaning? Because meaning, that mix of emotion, culture, and personal truth, remains ours alone. The road ahead, responsible AI so. What does a responsible AI future look like? It starts with awareness. We can't manage what we don't understand. We need transparency. AI systems should explain how they make decisions. We need accountability. Humans should remain responsible for AI's outcomes. We need education, not just coding skills, but critical thinking about technology's role in society. Imagine if schools taught AI literacy alongside reading and math, helping children understand not just how to use technology, but how to question it. Imagine governments that use AI not just to monitor citizens, but to serve them, improving healthcare, sustainability, and social welfare. AI doesn't have to be a threat. It can be a partner in building a more intelligent, ethical, and inclusive world if we design it that way. Humanity 2.0, perhaps AI isn't here to replace us, but to remind us what makes us human. We feel, we imagine, we dream. Things no algorithm can replicate. AI can analyze emotion, but it can't feel it. It can predict beauty, but it can't experience awe. It can calculate morality, but it can't choose compassion. In that sense, AI isn't the end of humanity. It's a mirror, reflecting our best and worst selves. The question is whether we'll look into that mirror with fear or with wisdom. The truth is, AI will only ever be as dangerous or as powerful as the people behind it. It's not the technology that defines our future. It's the values guiding its use. Maybe the real challenge of AI isn't learning how to control machines. It's learning how to control ourselves. Final reflection. Artificial intelligence is not destiny. It's design. Every click, every code, every choice we make shapes what it becomes. We can build an AI that divides or one that empowers, one that replaces or one that uplifts, one that mimics or one that magnifies the best parts of us. So, is AI a threat or a tool? Maybe it's both. But if history has taught us anything, it's that tools don't define us. How we use them does. And that's where we'll wrap up today's episode of Speak Smart. Artificial intelligence isn't destiny. It's a direction. It's not here to steal our future, but to test what kind of future we're willing to build. Maybe the most powerful intelligence isn't artificial at all. It's human awareness. The courage to question, the empathy to connect, and the wisdom to choose meaning over convenience. So, whether you see AI as a threat or a tool, make sure it serves your humanity, not replaces it. Thanks for tuning in. If today's episode made you think, share it with someone who's curious about the future.